All right, what's up, guys? This is the Mad Awareness Podcast. We're back. We got John Broughton on the line. How we doing, John?
Doing great, dog. How you been?
Pretty good. So the last time we talked was, I think it was like September, with Tyler Berger. That was a pretty awesome podcast. But at that time, you kind of recently moved to State College. So how has it been, getting to hang out with like all the Penn State Scrap Life guys?
It's been awesome. So I live with Nolf and Helen Marulis now, and actually I can hear her playing the harp right now downstairs.
She plays the
Um,
harp.
yeah, I don't know if you can hear any of it.
Uh-uh.
It's not picking up, I guess. But yeah, so it's been awesome, man. I really like it. The kind of what we talked about last time, like wrestlers, we kind of think different. So it's been cool, kind of finding a lot of people that think similarly to the way I do, and yeah, they're just they're fun to hang out with.
Wow, Jason Nolf and Helen Morales. You don't find a lot of better wrestlers than them. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're good roommates too.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Wow, and she's playing the harp. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Feel
it's
like,
nice house music. That's what I told her. It's like not like house music, like
yeah,
it's like like classy dinner party music.
yeah. I feel like a lot of wrestlers are into just like random hobbies that you kind
Yeah,
of
for
just find
sure.
out about. But very nice. How do you like just like the area of State College?
It's good. I like it a lot. The East Coast is different than the Midwest a little bit. It's not like East Coast, but
Hmm.
it's definitely a little different than Wisconsin. It's a little bit warmer, which is nice. Gets a
Nice.
little bit nicer earlier.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love the area. It's central PA, and we're like 3 hours from Pennsylvania and 2 hours or 3 hours from Philly and 2 hours from Pittsburgh. But the airport's like right by our house, so it's really nice
Okay.
to like pop in and out that way. So I love living here.
Dude, I feel like I see you on flights like every other week. What has that been like?
Um, okay, so when I started out, I watched a whole bunch of Casey Neistat, and my dad traveled a lot for work too. I had this weird goal, and like I don't know why I had this as a goal, but like my goal was like I want to travel so much I get tired of it, and I've achieved that goal. I'm
Nice.
a little burnt out, but it's been awesome. Like I traveling is also like probably my favorite thing to do. So I love going new places and doing new things and meeting new people. So it's been amazing, and I'm really lucky that I'm in this position to do all those things. But yeah, yesterday I was I was at the airport from 7 in the morning until 9 at night. So that got a little
Nice.
old.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. My brother, he's an airplane mechanic manager, and so I actually, this year was the first year, but I think it's like 30 to $100 flights, so they're really cheap, but they're standby, and I'm just scared. I haven't done one yet, partially just because of COVID and stuff, but I'm scared that like, oh, if I miss a flight and I have to stay in an airport for like 24 hours, that's just doesn't sound like a fun time. But I'm
No,
sure
it's
you've
rough.
had your fair share of that recently.
It's rough, but it the as long as the plane changes, like the it doesn't cost too much. It's like, you go for it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yesterday I was posted up and I was reading a book, and actually it's right here, um, called The Dip by Seth Godin. He's like my favorite author. But yeah, I was just like kicking it. Did a bit of work on my phone and my laptop, and it's not bad. Can't complain.
Yeah. Speaking of just like traveling, you have like five pretty sweet pictures behind you. Why don't you just read off like what countries those are from? Because those are pretty crazy.
So that one's Brazil. That one's Hungary, Budapest, Hungary. That one is Turkey. That's Istanbul. That's Kazakhstan, Nur Sultan, and then that last one is Singapore.
What was your favorite one?
Oh, it's tough. They're all so great. And then also, I'd say Singapore.
Okay.
I'd say Singapore. Yeah, Singapore was pretty cool.
Is that for like one FC?
Yeah, it was for Ben's last UFC fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
So it was cool. He was the main event, and that whole trip was just crazy, like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
Um, and then the my mom and I went to a camera store, and so we got this one printed out. This is going to be Nice, France. So I'm really
Oh,
excited to hang
nice.
that up because right now, like my OCD is kicking in, and it's like, why are there five and not six? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Nice. So, recently, I guess the two big things we're going to talk about is Olympic trials and the big fight, the Ben Askren and Jake Paul fight, and all those experiences that came along with it. But just in starting with the Olympic trials, a lot of great performances by the Penn State guys. Just because I know you spend a lot of time with those guys, but I guess the first thing I want to ask is, were you surprised by Nick Lee beating Zayn on the backside?
uh, yeah, actually, I was. I would say like when he beat Yanni, I was like, dang, he's on a tear. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's just wrestling really, really well. It's almost like, you know, any given day, anyone can win. That's wrestling, right? Especially when you get to the high level of like its styles make matchups and that kind of thing, plus their practice partners. Um, but I think it's also it's interesting, you know, like it's interesting. I think coming right off of winning folk style folk style nationals, you know, he maybe just didn't put any pressure on himself. Like I'm not supposed to be here. Like not that I'm not supposed to be here, but he's like I'm not definitely not the pick to
Yeah,
make the team.
yeah,
So I'm just gonna go out and let it fly. And you're really dangerous when you have that mindset.
yeah, yeah. That was definitely surprising for everyone. I'm sure Zayn will be back. Maybe he'll go up a weight too. I don't know. That's what
Maybe.
some people have been speculating. But,
Oh really?
well, I actually like Ben Askren, so
Oh really?
that's what
I
he's
hadn't heard
saying
that.
on FRL. So I don't
Ah,
know.
interesting.
Yeah, who knows? But another thing is, I heard Real Woods was thinking about going to Penn State.
Who?
Real Woods from Stanford.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, I just wanted to see if you'd give us a little facial reaction that would give it
Oh,
away or
I
not.
no, I
Okay.
honestly haven't heard anything about it. Like I'd love to like show off my poker face, but I have literally no idea.
Okay, fair enough. And then David Taylor wins his bracket. Bo Nickel's in there. Just what are your thoughts, or what was like your reaction when you saw Bo Nickel slap Zahid's ass as he was beating him the last couple of seconds?
Oh my goodness, dude. I've never yelled so loud in a match. Like we're all watching that in the living room downstairs, and I was so hyped when he like neck whipped him
Yeah,
because that shot was like deep. He got in on his leg, and then Bo was just like, nope, boom, and then just oh, dude, I didn't even pay attention to that part because I was freaking screaming my lungs out. It was
yeah,
great.
yeah. That was crazy. And then, what are your thoughts like on the David Taylor Bo Nickel final?
Um, hey, I mean that's the way it went. The that I knew that matchup was going to be interesting because they're both you know super high level and they're both from the same obviously the same club. They train together a lot. So I haven't personally seen them go head to head, so I didn't have a whole bunch of information going in. So I was really interested to see what happened, right? But at the same time it was you guys everyone else seeing it unfold everyone else saw it unfold just as I saw it unfold, right? Like I didn't have any like preconceived notions of
Yeah.
much of it.
Did you like see like just any tension or awkwardness between the two, like leading up to just like the trials or anything? Or like what
No,
was that like?
no,
Are
not
they
really.
friends?
They're both really professional. They're both you know gentlemen. They're both great practice partners. So like, yeah, I don't think there was any really. I'm sure there was a little bit of tension, you know, under the surface, but none that anybody could see.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess like Thomas Gilman, he's the man.
He is the man.
Dude, I just
Love Thomas.
everything he says I think is hilarious and I love it.
Dude, he is the man. I get coffee a lot with Thomas. He's
Yeah.
he's a character, and he's one of those people who's so like un apologetically like himself, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
just like himself all the time, doesn't really like filter himself or shy down from saying what's
I
on his
love
mind.
that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that's really refreshing. And I really appreciate that. And dude, he's so fun to hang out with. He's the man.
Yeah. Yeah, I did think it was hilarious, like the interview after where the dude was like, "So you kind of came out of nowhere, no one saw you coming." And he's like, "Dude, I took silver in like Worlds a couple of years ago. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" And then, dude, I just love how, like, whenever he talks about Spencer Lee, he kind of says stuff that's like, just I don't know how to describe it. They're like sneaky little attacks at him, and they're hilarious.
Yeah, they're pretty
So,
funny. They're pretty funny. He's like, because everyone in Iowa and like the media, like, I don't want to over speculate this, but there were two Hodge winners this year, right? I don't think Spencer got enough votes. I think
yeah,
I think everybody voted for Gable, and I think that Win Magazine's an Iowa-based publication, and they're the ones that give the Hodge out. And I think they were like, no, we can't not give the Hodge to Spencer. So um, I don't know. I think that there's definitely a huge bias on everything that's like wrestling kind of exposes that, especially when you get to a higher level, like when you face competition that's like no joke, right? Not that his competition is a joke. I'm not saying that, right? But like when you get to the next level of competition that
hmm,
matches your level, it's a different story. You know what I mean? And you have those people that like kind of will tear through a bracket, and then when they get somebody who's kind of their level and they get in a close match that maybe they don't win, everyone's like shocked, and it's like, well, no, that's just the way wrestling is.
yeah, yeah. And I heard like, I guess you vote like for a first, a second, and a third, and the first place votes were tied, but then they just like threw out. You'd think that they'd count like people's second place votes and stuff. They're just
Yeah,
like,
I
nah,
don't
we'll
know.
just tie it up. So
I don't think so. I don't think that there are a tied amount. If like that's just might be my speculation, but I
yeah.
think that it's yeah, dude. I don't think so.
Regardless, you can't have two winners. That's
I
the
think you
bottom line.
can't. It
It's so
doesn't work like
stupid.
that.
Yeah.
What if they gave out two Heisman trophies? What would everyone do? Everyone would be like, "What the? What is this?"
Dude, who knows? That would be hilarious though. But
Next thing you know, everyone gets a Heisman trophy for showing up and participating.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We don't need to get into that. But
Next thing you know, little Jimmy playing soccer gets a Heisman trophy because you don't want his feelings to get hurt.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just yeah. I'm over it at this point. It did kind of piss me off though.
It pissed you off? Pissed me
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. I think
It's
it
like
pissed a lot of people off.
if it was Spencer, even if it was Spencer, I'd be like, okay, he's the Haas Trophy winner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're both good.
It's
It's
not even
not
docking him. It's just the fact that there are two. I just
yeah.
don't I just don't think that Spencer got enough votes. Like from the information that I heard about it, right? But who knows?
Yeah. But then the last Penn State guy, Kyle Snyder, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on him and his performance?
Kyle?
Yeah, and the Jaden Cox thing.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I think he did great against everyone in the bracket. I think he was definitely preparing for Cox, and I was interested to see that matchup. I was excited for it. I like Kyle a lot. He's a great dude, and I'm happy for him. He's on the Olympic team. So as far as the Jaden situation, man, like I've heard some stories where he didn't get quite the right information, but
Hmm.
I don't know how you're that reliant on, just one person telling you when weigh-ins are for the most important tournament of your life, you know, or
Yeah.
one of, right? Because he's already been to the Olympics, I guess. But yeah, the Olympic trials is not the time to figure out when weigh-ins are. It's like that and be early and be on weight when you're early. Like I felt like when I wrestled, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be on weight and be half a pound under when we're like 15 minutes, 30 minutes away from weigh-ins, right? I actually want to show up to the building on weight pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really understand that. And now they're going through all the appeals, but It's too late.
What are you gonna do at this point? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Boys, we're gonna re-wrestle the entire Olympic trials, all the weights. It's the only way.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. So I think it's frustrating as as a wrestling fan, you want to see the best compete against each other. So maybe we'll see it at a tournament or something this summer, but I don't see it.
One thing that some people said was like, what if, I don't know, the next guy was like Kevin Gadsden. Kevin Gadsden's good, but he's not Kyle Snyder level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then would they just let him in? You know.
Oh, you mean yeah, yeah.
Like if Kyle Snyder wasn't there, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kyle Snyder, he's pretty damn
you
good
can't,
himself.
You can't make exceptions. It's like it's all about like what role or identity are we going to play as USA Wrestling, and I think that not letting him back in is the right move, and there's no guarantee like Jaden wins or Kyle wins, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a match that everybody wants to see. Like that's probably going to be a close match. Because both of those guys wrestle really, really high level guys pretty close as it is. So no matter what, it's going to be close and it's going to be exciting. But then there's also the comments of like, hey, do you think Russia would, not let them wrestle off, right? If they're clearly the two best guys. And it's like, okay, we're not Russia. You know what I mean?
That's true. We're not sketchy.
We're not
As
Russia.
sketchy.
And the other thing is like we have a fair process, right? We have a fair process through all points of the event to see who the best guy is. We even have 2 out of 3, right? Whereas in Russia, it's the coach's pick. Like they take them to a whole bunch of tournaments, but if they like one guy's style over another guy's style, but in the head-to-head, the guy that they like better lost, but they like him better, they're going to put him in. So that's kind of how Russia does things, and I think it's better that we don't do things that way. I think that's definitely not the right way to do things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, just a lot of like random little controversial things that have happened recently. It's kind of fun to talk about that stuff. But and then the last thing was just RBY winning a national title.
Dude. Yeah, that was slick.
Dude, he posts sick videos.
He does. I met his video guy. He does good work.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
And Roman does a good job of branding himself too. Like his social media is really on point and really professional. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see him kind of like coming into his own, like as an upperclassman, now a national champ. Like it's pretty cool. And now he's branding himself and he's looking at like the next level, like what he wants to do next, as far as maybe either wrestling, for the Olympic team or and trying to make the world team or going right into fighting. It's cool. It's cool to see.
Do you spend, so like you obviously work for Scrap Life, so you spend a lot of time with like probably more like the RTC athletes. Do you spend a lot of time with just like the college guys though?
So the NLWC is like one of my clients, right? So beyond Scrap Life, I'm with the NLWC, and so sometimes there's overlap with like some of the events, like the Rockfin events, or college guys wrestling and stuff like that. And then every time I go to practice, they're the same practices,
Okay.
So they're just expanded to have more guys in there for the club. So yeah, no, I'm around those guys a fair bit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and then the 2 freshmen winning at 74 and 84, that's just crazy. And Nick Lee wins 4 for 4. Just taking away Iowa's, I don't know, whatever
it's
Iowa
insane.
had, they took it away.
Iowa still pulled it off,
Yeah.
even with Penn State going for 4 for 4 in the finals. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you take away some calls that Iowa definitely got.
Any in particular?
I think it was the Warner match.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, against the NC State dude. What's his name? Nick something? Nick Renan?
So you take that away, right? And it's like the Penn State could be national champs right now, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, and the Ironman Chad Redpin. That was a little sketchy. It was just really quick. Like ridiculously quick.
There was a lot of space under there. I don't understand One thing I have noticed, I'm not going to critique Iowa here. I'm going to critique the refs. One thing I've noticed in a lot of tournaments is that Iowa gets treated much differently than everyone else, and part of it's that Brands is a bit of a psycho.
Dude, they yell. You can always hear it.
Oh my God. Have you seen a video where they're like, you don't like tough wrestling.
Yeah.
Y'all love politicians, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like,
God.
oh man.
Dude, I watch that video like once a week. It is so funny. You guys love politicians. You don't like tough wrestling.
It makes it entertaining though.
It makes it entertaining. But I definitely think that, Iowa kind of gets, I would say, preferential treatment when it comes to the refs. Plus, like 50% of a lot of people at tournaments are Iowa fans or more, are Iowa fans, and so they've always got the biggest crowd. They're always putting a bunch of pressure on the refs. They're always talking shit. It's like, it's a lot. And as Whitewater, wrestling, I know that we did the same thing. Like we would talk shit.
Dude, no, your student section, no, the wrestlers that weren't on varsity during the duels, that was just some of the most annoying shit.
It was literally like Dishler, and everyone Dishler could get.
Yeah. It was funny, but I was just like, all right, chill out.
Yeah. And I think there were matches that literally, like, it wasn't even so much the ref. It was like we got in the other wrestler's head, like, that's two. And so he'll, like, belly out and give up the 2, and then the ref will be like, all right, 2. Like, now it's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that stuff works as much as it's like, I don't really like it. I don't really buy into it. And I usually don't yell that kind of stuff. It does. It works on inexperienced refs and sometimes other wrestlers.
Dude, just because we were talking about Whitewater, the craziest Whitewater match I ever saw was at regionals last year, or I guess 2 years ago. I don't know what you call it. But when your 165 pounder beat Jeski, do you know what match I'm talking about?
Yeah, Ryder, and then he flexed in his face.
That was insane.
Yeah,
that was
dude,
awesome.
That's like my favorite memory.
Yeah, that was one of the most fun matches to watch, of the tournament.
Also, because I was so hyped. Like, Ryder's my guy, obviously, right? But he's also that year my practice partner, and so watching him do that, I was just like, hell yeah, that felt so good. And also just the way that match went, like Ryder worked so hard, and seeing it all pay off for him like that, like especially because he didn't get nationals, right? Like a week later.
What's going on in here?
What's up?
Who's this?
How we doing, Jason Nolf? A pleasure.
I remember you were on FaceTime when the last time we were lifting weights.
No, this isn't him.
That's not you?
I don't think so.
You look like my buddy Ron.
Nice. Appreciate the flex.
Is the audio quality good?
That's pretty good.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You want to hop in and say hi?
You want to pull up a seat?
You got a question for me? Something?
Yeah,
we can
question.
Come up with some questions.
All right, what's your question?
I guess so. John and I
got a
in
question.
September. Okay, you got a question?
All right, no, I'm just kidding. Good.
All right, so, feel free to jump in.
Okay, I'll question. Do you have any AAA batteries?
I actually do in my toolbox.
All right, I'm gonna need some of those.
I can bring some over.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
All right, what's your question? Go ahead.
So, this is an honest question. We interviewed Tyler Berger, and I was just curious on your thoughts on him.
My thoughts on Tyler Berger? I think he seems like obviously a really good wrestler and a really good athlete in general. I feel like he's a pretty athletic person. He's fast and quick, and he's always competed hard, and he believes that he's going to win. He tweeted that stuff a while ago, but I think that was part of him just like believing that he was going to win. And, I don't really, it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to go trash talk, but like when other people trash talk me, I'm just going to like let it be. And, that's what they think they need to do to, win, and do it. I think whatever you believe is going to help you win is going to help you win just because you believe it, whether physically it works or not. Doesn't affect me if someone trash talks me though. If that was like his plan, then it didn't work. But if it was just for him, then that's good.
Respect. Hell of an answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the guest appearance.
Next dance.
I gotta post this clip now.
Canceled.
That's funny.
It's over.
I do want to
YouTube's
throw a
gonna,
chocolate almond if you got available. You really don't have any AAA batteries though.
no. YouTube's gonna demonetize the video now. Thanks a lot.
You're gonna what?
Demonetize the video because you were doing a titty dance
Oh,
on,
really?
our podcast.
His back.
So unprofessional. Do you see what I live with?
This is great. This is good entertainment.
You really don't have AAA batteries.
You're not AJ Ferrari. Don't try to be.
I don't want to be.
Can we get an AJ Ferrari flex? Just one. All right.
Yep.
Can I play with it?
Sure. All right, get out of here. We're on a podcast. We're doing professional things. All right. I told him it was a wrestling podcast and he could pop in if he wanted to.
I love it. I'm not editing any of that out. So
Good.
there you go.
Good. Keep it alive.
So hey, if you're listening to the audio, Jason Alt just walked in, was looking for some AAA batteries, answered a question, did some flexes, flexed the yeah, all sorts of stuff. But dude, let's just now we can get into the good stuff. The Triller Fight Club. Just take us like through that whole journey, like when you found out Ben was doing it, and what your role was with all that stuff.
I remember when I first found out. I think I was on a walk with my mom. It was pretty soon after the Nate Robinson fight. Not that I found out 100%, but that it was like a possibility that could happen. And so when it first popped up, I was like, oh my God, this is like the weirdest thing. Like Ben might fight Jake Paul. This is like something out of a movie. Like I could not have dreamt this up. This is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole process was insane. None of it quite made sense to me. Because like it made sense to me like thinking about it now, but like in the moment it'd be like, we're doing this now? Like wait, what? Basically Triller, this is their first event ever. So they took credit for like the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. fight, but that was actually another promotion doing that.
Oh.
So this is their first real run. So there were a lot of things like with the promotion that were just different than the UFC. You know, like the times we worked with the UFC, it's like been seamless and like really well organized and stuff like that. And then on this hand, it was like there's like 3 people who know what's going on and everyone else is kind of running around like chickens with their head cut off.
Oh, God.
So as soon as we figured out who the 3 people were, then everything was fine. But then you get to the event and it's like, okay, so Snoop Dogg is like, they've got Snoop Cam where he's just like smoking and drinking on on the pay-per-view. And then there's all these concerts. I'm like, what is going on? This is the most random assortment of things going on. And then there's a Justin Bieber concert. And oh yeah, we're going to have a boxing fight now. I just, start to finish, I was like, this is crazy. So insane event. Saw a lot of celebrities like you wouldn't even like think like would be there. Like, you know who dude with the sign is?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're like, I know who that is, but I guess you're famous. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Come on in.
So yeah, he's got like 15 million followers or something on Instagram.
That's
like,
crazy.
massively famous, and he's just got the cardboard signs like ready. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is hysterical. So there's a whole bunch of those little moments where you're like, wow, this is hilarious. I didn't know this was gonna happen. I met Snoop Dogg. That was interesting. Dude, start to finish, just wild ride.
What was it like meeting famous people such as Snoop Dogg?
Considering what to say and what not to say.
Yeah. I heard Ben, like, his take on FRL, just saying he wasn't a huge fan. He was kind of a
Snyder,
douche.
man, to be honest, I'm a big fan of his music, but I don't know. He just kind of came off. He wasn't very, very polite to another person we were working with. He was fine to me, right? But it's just kind of like when you see someone treat someone else badly, it's just kind of like off-putting. You're just kind of like, I don't really like the way that went And then all of the event, like I've got nothing against smoking weed, right? But there's just so much of like the let's play up like weed is so cool and everyone smoke weed, and then Oscar De La Hoya is like coked out, on the broadcast. It was just a whole lot of like, what are we doing? And how are we promoting this right now? I mean, that being said, I've got some contacts at Triller, and I would not mind working another event. It was so entertaining.
Yeah.
I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
It was just like a whole lot to process because, again, coming from the UFC where everything's run like a very profitable business and everything's like very, by the book, and like you can say these things, you can't say these things. Whereas this one, it's like fucking post everything and just do like all crazy content stuff that's just gonna generate attention, right? It was insane.
Yeah, and I love stuff that will just say, we're gonna try new stuff, and maybe they went a little far with it, but I mean, everyone was watching, and it was definitely one of the most unique things ever.
Hey, you can't be better, be different.
True. I guess like, so you did a bunch of cool stuff before the fight, like the weeks leading up to it with Ben. I know like you went to Logan Paul's like house or whatever in LA, I think, and a couple other things like that. What was like the cool stuff you got to do for that?
So I would say the coolest thing probably in the lead up was meeting Freddie Roach. So he's like, I'd say the greatest boxing coach of all time, if not one of, right? And he's so cool, dude. Oh my goodness. I want to, like, as an old guy, I want to be like Freddie Roach. He was like, he loves what he does, and he's also just freaking hilarious. Again, I don't know how much of this I should say. Basically, he was saying the Paul brothers weren't the toughest people. It was like,
Do they train with him or something?
yeah, apparently they came into Wild Card, and Freddie wasn't a huge fan.
Oh.
So he was just kind of ripping on them, which was hilarious. And then he's just like, I don't know, free old guy, just like saying what's on his mind. He's just the man. So, dude, meeting him was like, he's a legend. It was really, really cool. And then, being on the outside of like the Impulsive podcast, and like, that was pretty cool. It's weird. I had this thought. So as a video guy, I looked at like all the best YouTubers, all the best video people, right? And I was like, okay, when I first started this journey, I was like, okay, how do I be like these guys, the most popular YouTubers, right? And I looked at like Casey Neistat. He was like my freaking idol, right? I want to be more like Casey. I want to make videos like Casey. I want to live like Casey, right? But then I also looked at like Logan Paul, right? And it's interesting that I had the thought of like, okay, so do I replicate what Logan does? Do I vlog like that? Do I bring the energy and I'm like in front of a camera and I'm basically an actor with a camera on me, right? But I vlog my day. Do I do that? And that didn't end up being what I did. I made cinematic movie, like highlight videos, right? That was my thing. And that's launched me into my career. But it was cool to see like walking into his studio and being like, oh, I kind of got here like by doing my own thing. You know what I mean? Like our paths kind of crossed. He was doing his thing. I was doing my thing. And it's like, oh, that was a very cool moment for me because you see these guys on TV and on YouTube and you're like, wow, they're, so different. And then you meet them in person and you're like, it's just a regular dude who did his thing and is doing it to the best of his ability. So, that was a cool moment. Logan's a pretty cool guy. I mean, he's not going to beat Floyd Mayweather. He's on drugs if he thinks he's gonna beat Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. And then the other guys on the podcast, George Jenko is so freaking funny. Oh my god. He's like, yeah, he's hysterical. He had us laughing the whole time, and dude, it was just a cool experience. That whole LA trip was insane.
Yeah, so like I listened to the one with Ben, and then I started listening to a couple of the other ones. I don't know if I want to admit that publicly because some of it's
they
kind
do
of
a really good job with the production of their podcast.
Yeah.
It like keeps you engaged.
I like it because they interview a lot of people that like, I'm not old, but like that the kids know these days and that are like famous that I don't know who they are. and you get to know like if they're full of shit or if they're cool. And most of the people are cool. And that George dude is pretty funny, very personable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
So.
He was like, I like you, Ben. You're a good guy. I'm gonna follow you on Instagram. And he was like, they all wanted to play disc golf with us the next day, which is hilarious. And then, and so Ben on the podcast was like, said, you know, I have genius level IQ, which he 100% does, right? But afterwards, he's like, see, he's gonna get to the car, he's gonna buckle his seatbelt, and he's gonna be like, see, you make them your friends. That just little part broke me. I was like, damn, that's so funny. Yeah. So yeah, they're entertainers, right? Like I don't like Jake. I didn't like Jake before, but the rest of them, like Logan and George, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Askren could have came off any better going into it, like an environment that's probably a little bit hostile, you know, whether it's like underlying or not.
It's all slanted towards him. It's
the
Jake show. It's all like he's the cash cow, and they just want to like absolutely milk that everyone hates him.
So okay, then the last thing I wanted to get your thoughts on what are your thoughts on Jake Paul and just like how this all went? Do you respect that he supposedly got all these views, millions of buys and stuff?
He's a good marketer. He's really good at getting everyone to hate him. I think Colby Covington tries to get everyone to hate him, and he almost like does such a bad job of it. I end up kind of almost liking Colby by him just being so cringy and just, I don't know. It's like a car crash. I'm quoting Bo on that one, but it is. And it's like Jake, on the other hand, is just like I don't know if he's that hateable or if he plays up being hateable, right? Like I don't know which one it is. But I absolutely hate him. So, and he's good at it. And I almost don't want to give him that emotional response. Like I just want to be indifferent about him. But then he's always doing stuff that just like makes me hate him more. And I'm like, we really have to deal with this. This sucks. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not positive things to say about Jake.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like listen to some other interviews with him, like with his friends and just like people that like him, to try and see like the good side of him, because I didn't really know anything about him before all this stuff went down.
You lucky bastard.
He's I don't know, in some interviews he was okay, but in a lot of them he just kind of came off as just kind of a douche. So
yeah, total douche.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see who he fights next, and I'm for sure gonna tune in. So he's got that on me.
I hope he fights Tyron.
Oh, I don't think he'll do that, but
I don't think like if he was smart he wouldn't. But yeah, no. Tyron wants that fight because, dude, they were being so me and Tyron went to watch him get his hand wraps, right? Because you know in boxing you get to watch the other guy get his hand wrapped so he doesn't have a metal plate or whatever in there. Anyway, so we're in there and they just like will not stop talking shit, and it's so annoying. And it's like it didn't get under Tyron's skin, but I was just sitting there like, oh, I'm so like this sucks. They're so annoying, and they just like they think that they're so. I mean, hey, they've got a bunch of followers. I get it, right? But like they think they're like so important. It drives me crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like that kind of what we were talking about before, like it doesn't really matter what position you're in, like don't treat other people badly, right? Like don't think, oh, I'm so above everyone, I can just treat everyone like the way I want, right? And just like however I want. I think that'll come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, who knows who he's gonna fight, but also I saw the Tyron was on Instagram Live. I think it was like the day before the fight in the locker room with all you guys. I saw you in there. But dude is hilarious.
Tyron?
Yeah.
Dude, he's so funny. He's got a TV show coming out that's going to be like mostly a comedy.
Like just him?
Yeah. Well, he's going to like have other people on and like they're going to do like stuff and it's going to be cool. But yeah, Tyron and I might actually work together this summer. We've been kind of texting back and forth about some projects, so that'd be cool. It'd be fun to work with him.
Dang. So overall thoughts on the Triller fight as we wrap that up.
Um, I got a contact at Triller. I'm kind of like trying to work with them because I want to film more crazy exotic stuff.
That's fair. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but if Jake's fighting, I'll probably pass on that one.
Come on, you'll watch it somehow. Dude, what if he gets his ass kicked? You don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
If he fights somebody that will actually kick his ass.
Yeah, then I'll watch. Then I'll fight. Or
Yeah.
then I'll fight. Then I'll film. That would be
Granted,
great.
I thought Ben Askren. I was like trying to figure out how to illegally bet in Wisconsin because I was gonna
I
put
thought
like my
Ben was
life
gonna get it done,
savings
too.
on Ben, but
I didn't know that as much as I hate to say it, I didn't know Jake was that good at boxing. Ben hit him with a good punch early on, but yeah, Jake's pretty solid at boxing for for would he
A
beat like a
YouTuber.
high level boxer? No. Would he beat a high level MMA striker? Absolutely not. But Ben has never been known for his striking, and that one punch, like when someone throws an overhand right in MMA, Ben's on your legs before you can even step into it. You know what I mean? It's almost like he baits you to throw that punch. So his habit of not keeping his guard tight was the thing that kind of let that punch slide in there. So sucks, but is what it is.
yeah, yeah. Well, those are all the questions I got for you. You said you had something else you might want to bring up.
Oh, no, I just in for a good summer, traveling a whole lot. It's gonna be fun. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to the Olympics, unfortunately, but I think at the end of this month I'm going to Guatemala for the Pan Am Games, so that'll be fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm sure that will be a fun trip in
For
Guatemala.
sure, dude. We'll have to do another podcast.
Sounds good.